Born Li Lianjie on April 26, 1963, in Beijing, China, the youngest of several siblings in a modest family. Even from early childhood, his life was shaped by discipline and adversity. His father died when Li was just 2 years old, a tragedy that deeply impacted his family's dynamics. At age 8, Li began formal training in wushu, a modern exhibition style of Chinese martial arts that emphasizes speed, power, and aesthetically precise forms. It wasn't casual play, this was rigorous discipline from day one. His coaches at the Beijing wushu team, a highly competitive and intense training community, quickly recognized his natural talent, and Li immersed himself in training half his day, while attending school the other half. By age 11, Li had already dominated national competition, winning his first national championship and, in the years that followed, going on to win multiple titles. His success gained such prestige that he was seen as one of China's most accomplished wushu athletes by the late 1970s, a period when martial prowess was tightly linked to cultural pride and national identity in China. A formative moment in Li's youth came when his wushu troupe toured the United States in 1964 and performed before then-President Richard Nixon. Stories from that period say Nixon jokingly quipped about keeping Li as a bodyguard, but Li brushed off the compliment, saying he wanted to serve and protect his entire nation, not just one person. Whether apocryphal or literal, that moment symbolizes the young man's deep sense of cultural pride and commitment to a purpose far beyond personal fame. By 1979, Li retired from wushu competition not because he lacked skill, but because he had won everything possible, climbing from child champion to national legend. He retired undefeated. Jet Li's life took a dramatic turn when he stepped in front of the camera. In 1982, he made his film debut in the martial arts epic The Shaolin Temple, playing a young monk learning kung fu amid tumultuous times. The Shaolin Temple was more than just his first movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. Shot in mainland China with a predominantly local cast, the film was a massive success and deeply resonated with audiences for its visceral fight sequences and spiritual resonance. It wasn't Hollywood. It was martial arts in a form closer to martial tradition, and Li was the face of that resurgence. When the film was released internationally, distributors found Li Lianjie difficult to pronounce, so they marketed him as Jet Li, a name that would soon become synonymous with martial arts mastery. After conquering Chinese martial arts cinema, Li's career progressed into Hong Kong film, where for the first time he was positioned as a box office phenomenon rather than a national athlete turned actor. One of his breakthrough roles came with Once Upon a Time in China 1991, where he portrayed Wang Feiheng, a legendary martial arts master and folk hero from the late Qing dynasty. The film wasn't just action, it was cultural storytelling about nationalism, communal resilience, and resisting foreign domination. Li's portrayal was magnetic, unyielding in principle, humble in demeanor, and electrifying in combat. He returned as Wang Feiheng in several sequels, and his films from this period, including Fong Sayuk and Fist of Legend, became classics of the genre not just for choreography, but for narrative depth and emotional weight. Notably, Fist of Legend 1994 retold Bruce Lee's iconic Fist of Fury for a new generation, fusing historical drama with explosive fight scenes, and Lee's performance has often been cited by fans and historians alike as a benchmark for martial arts cinema. Despite dominating Chinese and Hong Kong film, global stardom came a few years later. In 1998, Lee entered Hollywood not as a heroic protagonist, but as a memorable villain in Lethal Weapon 4, starring alongside Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Audiences in the West were introduced to a new kind of action star, one whose movements were not just brutal, but beautifully controlled. Lee's first lead role in an American production was Romeo Must Die 2000, a high-octane fusion of martial arts and urban drama that broke traditional genre barriers and earned him widespread international recognition. Subsequent Hollywood films such as Kiss of the Dragon and Unleashed showed Lee's range from sleek martial discipline to emotionally complex characters. Lee seamlessly returned to Asian cinema with films like Hero and Fearless, both of which blended philosophical storytelling with breathtaking visuals that elevated martial arts beyond pure fight choreography to cinematic art. Even his Hollywood roles during this period, like The Forbidden Kingdom with fellow legend Jackie Chan and The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, expanded his global footprint. Perhaps most notable was his inclusion in the Expendables franchise, a meta-celebration of action cinema that gathered icons across generations, cementing his place in international pop culture. Jet Li wasn't just a martial artist, he was a performer with a philosopher's soul. His fight scenes were not chaotic brawls, but fluid movements rooted in real martial discipline, especially wushu, with its emphasis on grace, speed, balance, and technique. Unlike many action stars whose styles focused purely on aggression or spectacle, Li's on-screen combat communicated something deeper, a poetry of motion that reflected martial arts philosophy, balance of mind and body, and harmony of internal focus with external strength. His mastery of different forms from Chongquan to Fanziquan gave his performances explosive flexibility and precision. Li's humility off-screen has always matched his intensity on it. He's spoken openly about martial arts not as violence, but as discipline, with principles that can shape life ethics, patience, endurance, self-respect, and respect for others. Though globally adored as an action star, Li faced personal trials, including health challenges such as hyperthyroidism, in later years, a condition he publicly addressed and from which he said he recovered, leading him to scale back on intense action roles in favor of meaningful work outside cinema. Li's personal life includes 2 marriages and 4 daughters, a private world that he's always protected from the glare of fame. His second marriage is to actress Nina Li Chi, and together they built their family away from tabloid exposure. Perhaps the most inspiring chapter of Li's life isn't a film at all, it's his dedication to humanitarian causes. In 2007, he founded the One Foundation, later registered as China's first private charity fundraising organization. The foundation focuses on disaster relief, public welfare, and community support, extending Li's impact far beyond cinema to real human lives. Jet Li's influence is undeniable. He helped usher in a generation of martial artists who brought depth, cultural richness, and philosophical complexity to action films. From young fans who trained because they watched him, to filmmakers inspired to blend narrative with spectacle, Li reshaped global expectations of the genre. He proved that martial arts cinema doesn't need gimmicks, it needs authenticity, heart, and integrity. Today's filmmakers, stunt performers, and actors often cite his films as essential inspiration. Jet Li's story is more than a star's biography. It's a testament to discipline, cultural pride, artistic evolution, and humanitarian purpose. From a young boy practicing wushu in Beijing to a global icon who changed how the world sees martial arts on film, Li's journey stands as one of cinema's most riveting and inspiring sagas.